We're going to begin our process by attaching our debris sleeve fingers onto the robot. We can choose pre-programmed moves, and this gives us different options to perform different tasks.
Okay.
I'm going to choose the task for the debris drum indexing plate to the tipping tray. And here we just ask it to begin, and the robot does the work.
So right now it's operating in totally automated mode, is that right?
Correct. The robot's going to center itself above the debris drum, so the operator has control to go down and pick it up in any of the various positions it could be in. This gives me a good view of the height I am. So I'm going to get much closer to it.
So now you're lined up properly and you just need to go down to the proper height.
Now when we're fairly certain we are on there, we can close our gripper and raise it up off of the debris drum.
Okay.
From here, you just want to assure a safe distance above it. And then you can choose again your pre-programmed moves and ask the robot to take it to the tipping tray.
And then at this point the robot just takes over and it goes in automated operation.
Correct. And from here you can manually follow the robot with any of the different cameras, or use the pre-programmed locations. And you don't need to, just in order to watch it. It's going to drop it off at an exact location so that it can come pick it up later without the operator needing to do that work.
Okay. And then where is the robot moving now?
It's going to go to the safe start location so that the operator can choose their next task. So
And
now
then
we can,
at this point you have control of the robot.
correct.
With this screen. Okay.
Now I'll choose my next task, which will be to take a debris sleeve out of the debris drum and put it onto the debris slide.
Okay.
So we're going to choose that task and make sure that we're on the correct job that we want to do, and then push continue and allow the robot to take over.
Okay.
At this point, the robot's going to travel to a central location above the debris drum. And it's now going to give the operator control.
And what are you doing there?
I'm adjusting the gripper open distance.
For the specific operation that you're doing, pulling the
Yes.
debris drum out. Okay.
And here we can make our speed go up much faster until we get much closer to it.
And camera 6 will tell you exactly how high you are relative to the drum, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So at this point you sort of get it down to the height that you want it, and then you can start moving it into the exact position.
Yes. Then you want to raise straight up out of the debris drum.
So at this point, you're still controlling the robot
Yes,
with the joysticks, correct?
correct.
How do you know when you've cleared the edge of the...
I can use camera 6, that will tell us our height when we can see underneath the debris sleeve. And once we've cleared it, we can choose our pre-programmed moves to ask the robot to take it to the debris slide, where the robot takes over and does the work.
And really, that's the only option that you have in this program.
Correct.
So it would prevent the operator from doing something unintended. Now the robot, what is the robot doing at this point?
It's going to lay the debris sleeve into the debris slide and raise it up the slide for the telemanipulators to do their job.
Okay. So again, different angles give you a lot of different perspectives on any particular operation. And we're still in fully auto mode, even after the debris sleeve has been dropped off in the debris slide. Is that
Yeah.
correct?
It will push it completely up to the telemanipulators.
So the robot is sliding the debris sleeve down so that the telemanipulator arms can access.
Correct. And then the robot will return to its safe start position for the operator to choose their next task.
Okay.
At this point, we need to return our indexing plate to the debris drum and index it properly. So we're going to choose debris indexing plate to debris drum and start that process.
And it looks like the program gives you sort of a confirming the continue button, gives you an opportunity to confirm what you want to do.
Yes.
So now again, robot's in fully automated mode now, correct?
Yes. And it's going to return to the debris drum so that we can index the plate.
So it's just going to bring the index plate above the debris drum, and then it gives the operator control again.
Yes.
Okay.
And the camera above the indexing plate gives us the option to choose which slot.
So then you're using the other camera that's mounted overhead to show the orientation.
Correct.
Okay. So now you're picking a debris sleeve within the drum. You're rotating the index plate above that location, correct?
Correct. And you can choose any of the 6 outside locations.
Okay.
And we're just going to lower it fairly close to the top and open our fingers.
Okay.
We'll raise up to a safe distance. and return to our safe start position.
So now we see from the HMI screen we're back at the start position.
Correct, and now we can choose our next task, and we'd like to process a canister, and in order to do that we need to change our fingers. So we're going to go to tool change.
Okay.
And it already tells us we're in location 1, and that is where we removed these fingers from, and it recalls where they came from. So we're going to choose to unload and hit continue, and it's going to take us to the tool rack. We can see the tool rack from multiple different camera views.
Teresa, for this operation, could you exit out of here and show how you can see multiple camera views at once?
Sure. And now I can exit out and choose to show all of my camera angles at the tool rack.
Okay. And can you show the one view that shows the? It will show that one, yes. And the one right above that. So you get the larger view, so you can view multiple shots at once, including a larger view. Okay. Now, however you'd like the cameras as you're operating, feel free to change.
Now it gives us the opportunity here to make sure that we want to unload in there. So we're going to push unload location 1.
So it has remembered the location, the fingers that we had removed the fingers from, but it then also gives us the opportunity to confirm that before we unload the fingers into that position.
Yes.
Is that right? Okay. And again, right now it's fully automated, correct?
Yes. The operator's just making simple decisions as to which location and which fingers.
Okay. At this point, which fingers are you going to be picking up?
I'm going to pick up the large canister fingers, which are located in rack number 2. If I was uncertain as to which fingers those were, I could zoom in on the various racks and see that the fingers are labeled.
Okay. Okay, so now you're going to load the second set of fingers, is that correct?
Correct, but before
Okay.
I push load, I'm going to choose my location,
Okay.
and I'm going to load the fingers.
And the robot's doing this automatically, correct?
Yes. And once we've chosen the fingers that we would like, we can hit return to start position.
Then we're ready for the next operation.
Correct.
So with the next operation, we're going to be removing the canister from the input chute, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
We're going to start processing a new canister.
Okay. So at this point, you could train all the cameras on the input chute in preparation.
Yes.
Okay. Seems like after a while you get a pretty good feel for which cameras are helpful for which operation.
Yeah. So we want to choose process new canister, and it shows us that our first location is going to be at the inlet side, and we want to continue that process.
And then the robot just proceeds automatically over to above the inlet slide, correct?
Yes.
And at this point you turn down the speed of the robot so that you have good control?
Yes.
Okay. It looks like the camera mounted on the fingers is pretty good. It's pretty helpful in this operation.
Yeah, it tells you if you are on both sides of the can and if there's equal distance between them.
Okay. And then, so you're just now moving the arm up high enough to clear the inlet chute, correct?
Correct. And once I'm clear of that, I can allow the robot to take over. And here the robot is allowing for a can the length of 25 inches to be able to move freely through the space to the canister cutter.
So the robot's just moving it into position right above the canister cutter.
Correct.
Okay.
And it's above the chuck, centered on it. And we can turn our speed up and get it much closer by going straight down. My operator has control. So we want to get it down to the chuck. The robot center of the gripper is at the center of the chuck. And this is the widest can, so you have the least amount of
clearance on the sides.
yes. And then you can open your gripper. So set it down onto the chuck. And raise above the can.
So then you just move it straight up.
Correct.
Okay.
Can you switch back to your webcam?
Here it's only necessary to get high enough to clear the can. And we can allow the robot to take over from there.
So you're going back to the pre-programmed moves
Correct.
and continuing from there.
Correct.
And what is the robot going to do now?
It's going to reorient the wrist so that we can pick up the lid once it's cut off of the can.
So now you just have a simulated lid, since we don't have the ability to operate the cutter.
Correct.
So if it was in production use right now, the can opener would be, you would have cut the top off, and now we're just going to come in and remove the top.
Correct.
And the speed of the robot right now is pretty slow for manual operation. We could really speed things up pretty dramatically.
Yeah, the robot is actually only running at 35% right now.
Okay. And that's just a function of the fact that we're operating in a temporary environment where things aren't bolted down and have the ability to move. So it looks like camera A couple different cameras give you the ability to see how high you are.
Correct, and again, we're fairly close to center, but as we approach, you can see on our end of arm, as well as the multiple camera views. As we get close, we want to reduce our speed.
So we can see we are down low enough to pick up the lid now, correct?
Correct. We can close our gripper and lift it straight up. And again, all we need to do is get high enough to clear the can. And then we can choose our pre-programmed moves to continue the process. And it's going to take the lid to above the debris drum. And we are going to the debris drum. And this could be indexed at any of these locations. So it will stop above the debris drum and allow the operator to place the lid into the correctly indexed slot. Allowing it to go into the debris sleeve.
Okay. And now you just raise the arm again to clear.
No. And right now the robot is just reorienting the wrist above the can.
Okay, so now we've replaced our closed can with an open can just for the demonstration purpose.
Okay, now our operator has control, and we're going to get much closer to the can, which should be fairly centered on the can. We can change our camera views so we know how high we are from it.
So you're going to just use this view to get you down to the proper height. Adjust your speed for fine. So now that the can is open, do you have to adjust the torque?
Yeah, you want to make sure that it is appropriate for the weight and the material that you're working with. So once you close your gripper, you just need to raise straight up out of the can opener. And at this point, we can increase our speed. Then I can choose my pre-programmed moves that's going to allow me to take it to the tipping tray.
So now the robot is taking over in automatic mode.
Correct.
Correct.
And I can choose different camera views. Now the operator has control to tip the can.
Looking at other camera angles can give you an idea of the orientation of the arm.
Once we've dumped the contents of the can, we just want to get the wrist back upright.
So you're still in control of the robot at this
Correct.
point? Okay.
And once we get it back upright and out of the way of the tipping tray, we can choose our pre-programmed moves, which will take this can to the debris drum.
So depending on the orientation of the arm, either the on-arm camera or the overhead camera could give you an idea of where you are here.
Correct. Once we get to the debris drum, our overhead camera is going to give us a really good idea of our location to the indexing plate.
Okay.
And we can just go straight down until we're in the view of camera 6.
And this view allows you to get within an inch or so of the top
Correct.
of the drum.
Correct. So from here, we just want to raise above.
You want to dump the contents of the tipping tray, correct?
Yes,
Okay.
thank you.
So we can train the cameras on the tipping tray, and then the robot just takes over with manual or automated operation, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
So we just want to choose empty tipping tray and ask it to continue. And we can check our different camera views to ensure that the tipping tray is empty.
So we're just dropping off the canister fingers. We're going to pick up the debris fingers, correct?
Correct. And it remembers where we took these out of location 2, but we could change that if we wanted to. Now we want to change our location to the location we want to pick up from, which is location 1. And we're going to load those fingers. Now that we have the fingers that we would like, we'll return to the safe start position.
So what will we be doing next, Teresa?
We're going to remove the indexing plate and put it in the safe location on the tipping tray.
Okay.
And then we can put the debris sleeve that is full in the debris slide back into the debris drum.
Okay.
So now that we're at the safe start position, we can choose what we're going to do next. So we want to go debris drum indexing plate to tipping tray.
And then camera 6 gives you a pretty good idea of how high you are.
Yes. And as you get closer, you want to reduce your speed. From here, the robot will return to the start position so the operator can choose their next task.
So the robot's just operating again in auto mode at this point.
Correct. Let's see if camera 1 gives us a good... But this is a fully automated process.
So now, once you get above the drum, the system will give the operator joystick control.
Correct. But these more tedious moves the robot does for you.
Okay. So now we can put the cameras, train the cameras on the drum to be ready for the operation there.
Yes.
Okay.
The above the drum camera is very helpful in this process. And we just have to clear the top of the drum and we can return to start.
So then the last thing we need to do is to put the index plate back on the debris drum. Is that correct?
From here, it's going to travel back to the debris drum and allow the operator to choose the proper indexing. The above drum camera gives you a really good view of where you want to index it at. And you can increase your speed, raise up to a safe distance above the indexing plate, and it will continue to return to the start position. At that point, you will be ready to choose another task.